Thank you all for being here this morning. My name is Rick Busby. I'm a licensed Unity teacher. I'll be guest speaking and doing the music here this morning at Unity of San Marcos. If you're joining us later online, welcome. Thank you for taking the time to spend this with us. We're going to open up in meditation this morning, so this will be a good place for you at home seeing this later as well, to just take some time and let's get ourselves centered here. So I invite everyone to take a deep, centering, cleansing breath or two, whatever it takes, knowing that on our inhale we are breathing in that spirit, breathing in that divine energy that we call God, we know as love. And on each one of our exhales, as we settle into this centering space, as we exhale, we release anything that is not love, anything that is not God. Breathe in God, we breathe in peace, we breathe in love, and we release everything that is not of these qualities. And as we do, we center ourselves deeper and deeper into that still, sweet spot within our own being, where resides the divine indwelling presence of Christ. We connect in consciousness to that awareness that the Christ is within. The Christ is within me. The Christ is within you. The Christ is within everyone. As we recognize that awareness of this truth, we quietly say namaste within our consciousness. Just namaste, recognizing divine part of us that sees and connects with the divine part in others. We know through this connection that we form this glorious, magnificent oneness, this profound unity, this unity of family. We are all God's children. Hold our awareness in this truth, and we receive that truth for ourselves, feeling God's love enfolding you, taking your concerns and worries, anxieties, and allowing them to just release them into that God energy so that they are dissolved, so they return to the nothingness from which they came, and we feel God's peace. In this space of connection and oneness, we know and realize the truth that we are divine beings, created in the image and the likeness of the great divine, God, truth, love, wisdom, power, imagination, the capacity for spiritual understanding, enthusiasm, order in our lives, the power to release and eliminate that which no longer serves our transformation, that generative power of life that we celebrate that comes from the divine. Even now it is flowing through each and every one of us unabated. So we relax into this awareness and we allow that energy to infuse our bodies. Places where there is doubt or anxiety or worry, we allow that life energy just to neutralize it, to harmonize it, to bring it into a divine accord within our being so that we have a sense and an awareness and a feeling within us that we are indeed one, that we are indeed whole, healthy, prosperous, creative, powerful beyond all of our imaginations. And so we accept this truth. We hold this truth close. We know that all divine truth, all divine wisdom is available to us even right now for any kind of situation or circumstance that might perplex us. We know that the solution is at hand. And so today we open up to Spirit. We open up to that source of truth to allow it to flow through us, to bring our life back into an awareness of balance, to set the stage for us to experience peace. And as we experience that peace within, we also allow that peace to express through us into the world, knowing that our own choice for peace is also making a choice for the world. We will be the change that we wish to see in this world. And for those capacities and faculties that facilitate that transformation, for the opportunity to be alive in this experience and to grow and to transform, for all of this and so much more, we are ever so grateful. And so as we prepare ourselves to spend a few moments in the silence, we set an intention for ourselves. As we enter this holiday season, moving towards the new year over the next couple of months, we set our intention on transformation, personal transformation. We ask Spirit to guide us, to show us that which may no longer serve our transformation in our lives. Ask us to help to identify that and to set our intention for the release of that so that we can set the stage for new growth, new transformation in our lives. You will know what that is. Your inner teacher will tell you what that is. It's individual for you, and that's the great thing about God's love, is that it can speak to us with our individual concerns. Always speaks the truth, always setting the stage for healing. And so as we continue to breathe into that experience of the awareness of the oneness with God right here, right now, we open our hearts, our minds. We say, show me. Show me what is mine to do in the silence. As you continue to hold that space, I'll play this Daniel Nahmod song, When I Pray. When I pray, I feel my heart go deeper, my heart go deeper into my God. When I pray, I feel my heart go deeper, my heart go deeper into my God. Right here, right now, right where I am, I pray. Right here, right now, right where I am, I pray. When I pray, I feel my soul go deeper, my soul go deeper into my God when I pray. I feel my soul go deeper, my soul go deeper into my God. Right here, right now, right where I am, I pray. Right here, right now, right where I am, I pray. When I pray, I feel my love go deeper, my love go deeper into my God. When I pray, I feel my love go deeper, my love go deeper into my God. Right here, right now, right where I am, I pray. Right here, right now, right where I am, I pray. When I pray, I feel my heart go deeper, my heart go deeper into my God. So, prepare ourselves to move out of this sweet space. There's nothing left to say at this moment, but thank you. Thank you, sweet, sweet Spirit, for the love, for the power, for the truth, the knowledge and wisdom. We celebrate that imagination today as well, and we bring our enthusiasm and our divine passion, our divine zeal into this. We set our intention to transform our lives beginning today, moving forward into the holiday season and beyond. So we say thank you for the power. Thank you for being with us in this divine connection. Thank you for the opportunity to transform our lives. For all of this and so much more, we are ever so grateful. And so we say thank you, thank you, thank you, living, loving Spirit. We pray in the name and the nature of the indwelling Christ. And so it is, so we allow it to be. Amen. I think I need to come back to my body for a minute. So I think I'm just going to go ahead and play a song here. I think I just need to get before we get into the talk. We are going to be talking about zeal and renunciation, elimination, kind of is the two kind of main topics today. But we're also kind of setting the intention as we were doing in the meditation there of looking forward to this holiday season and setting that intention. It's like what can I do in my life that can still yet transform my experience? Have I grown as much as I can grow? Have I experienced as much as is available to me as God would want me to experience? Have I served, well enough or in the right places and so forth? Like, what is mine to do? And that if there is an intention to set that forward, like when God is moving in us, like when we allow that spirit, that divine energy to move in and through us, to express as us into the world, it's like we know that we're not alone, that there is a co-creative power that is with us. And then at a certain point in time, we're not even leading anymore, that we're following. we're following this divine urge, and we're keeping ourselves open to that expression. So the song I want to play for you all this morning to set the stage for this. This is a song I wrote with my wife, Faith. It was probably about 7 years or so ago for one of the World Day of Peace services that we had at Unity Church of the Hills. And we wrote this song, specifically for that event. And I liked it quite a bit. I thought we did a really, really good job. It was a great experience writing it with her. But I didn't play it for like a long time. Like I just kept writing songs and kind of forgot about it. And it was still in my book. And a few weeks ago, I was like, oh, wow, look, down here at the bottom of the list where I never get to choose songs, it's sitting there. And I was like, and I pulled it back out and like looked at it. And it was as I was preparing a talk earlier in October on zeal. And I was like, it was literally one of those moments where you're preparing for the talk, and then you get this sort of hit in consciousness. It made me think about that song, and I was like, huh? And then when I went and looked at it, I was like, oh, that's perfect for talking about zeal and everything, because it speaks to that energy of allowing Spirit to move in us and through us, and that we get into that co-creative partnership. So this is a song called Move in Me is the title of the song. And as I said, I did write it with the lovely Miss Faith Davis, who I believe will be here with us on the Burning Bowl ceremony in New Year, on New Year's Eve. So she's going to be coming with me that day. It'll be our 12th anniversary the next day. So this, as I said, this is called Move in Me. Standing in your presence, still holding to a dream. The world in all its essence is more than what it seems. My eyes will betray me into seeing more than one, but Spirit knows the way to wake this dream undone. When you move in me, all I see is my perfect part in the plan. Help me be the change in the world I wish to see, to know the unbreakable chain of the truth that sets us free and binds us here together within the love as one, shining in the light forever, shining as the sun. When you move in me, all I can see is your perfect heart in the plan. When you move in me, all I see is the perfect heart in the plan. Return me to original creation before I fell for the separation. Breathe into me divine inspiration until peace returns to every nation. Until peace returns to every nation. When you move in me, all I see is the perfect heart in the plan. When you move in me, so much. I don't know, I'm feeling really grounded here this morning for some reason, despite all that rocky start that we had and everything. And I guess it kind of started, I've been kind of talking in and around this topic in various ways throughout the course of the month, and also sort of applying what I'm talking about on Sundays kind of in my daily and weekly routines, and being mindful of that, and like looking at like where is my passion, like where, like, you know, like look at your day, and these are the things that you do, these are the routine things that you do in your day and your week and your month and so forth and everything. And it's like it's caused me to examine, like, of all these things I'm doing, where am I directing my passion? Am I directing my passion, my zeal, my enthusiasm in areas that, while they might be, you know, sort of recreational and fun and nothing wrong with that and everything, how much of that time is being allocated to sort of, for lack of a better way of saying it, a non-creative way, where you're putting yourself in a position to, say, consume entertainment, whether it be a baseball game or a movie or a book, all the times when we're really kind of in a passive receiving kind of thing, and we're just receiving, and or compared to the time that you're actually creatively expressing yourself in one way or another. And it's like, the thing is that whether we're sitting there, you know, watching, binging on Netflix, or me, it's baseball season and World Series and football season is over, laughing, it's like I got all kinds of opportunities to distract myself into entertainment consumption right now. There's a cost to it, and the cost is your time and your energy. And, you know, at this stage in our life and our transformation and our process and everything, the amount of time that we have is, we're spending it each day. And so it becomes more and more incumbent upon us to really be mindful of, like, where am I directing my energy? It's not just your energy, your creative energy. We have to think about those things in terms of our resources as well, like our abundance and our prosperity is how and where am I spending, you know, my money and my resources, and directing that. So in every one of our life processes, our habits and everything, there's an opportunity for our imagination to come directly into those considerations, right? Like, can I look at this routine that I've been doing, this habit that I'm doing? I've enjoyed it. And is it the most efficient, most powerful use of my time? We have to like be able to see our time as a valuable commodity and resource. And despite our affirmations for abundance and prosperity and everything, in a very real sense, our time is limited. Like, you know, we're affirming prosperity and abundance and everything, and our time is our most precious resource. And so it becomes incumbent upon us that if I believe this, let me just say this before I say the second thing. I believe that if I'm still alive, I'm still volitional, I'm still engaged in everything, then there is something for me to learn. There's more growth that I can experience. There's more transformation ahead of me than even behind me at this point in time. But I have to intend that, I have to expect that, I have to be available to Spirit to move me into those situations. And that's what I was talking about a while ago, about where is your divine enthusiasm? Exactly where are you directing it in your life? Because in everything that you're doing, your zeal is engaged. Like, it doesn't really matter what you could even be in a situation that you don't want to be in, doing a task or something like that you don't really want to do, and your zeal is still engaged, because your zeal is actually part of your resistance to doing this thing you don't want to do, because your zeal wants to be over doing something else that's more creative and more fun instead of this thing. So it's just a matter of how that's turned up, the volume of that zeal is turned up, and where it's being directed. And that's what I've always loved about. One of the things I thought about this week as I was preparing for today, and one aspect of today's presentation was just going to be, you know what, I'm just going to go in there today. I'm going to set an intention, and then we're just going to have a conversation instead of me talking one way at you and everything. And it's like, and the underpinning idea for that kind of thing would have been, how are the Unity principles, like why are you here at Unity, and how are these Unity principles, how are you actually employing them in your life? Are you employing them to your life to a greater or lesser degree? It's like if we're coming here and we're educating ourselves, we continue to come back and practice these things to get them grounded in our consciousness. They're only valuable to us in our lives if we employ them. Okay, and so looking at our different concerns or aspirations in our lives, the issues we may be dealing with, the dreams we may be attempting to manifest, we have all of these creative faculties to help us to manifest those. Zeal is where it begins. Now I'm going to tell y'all a little story right now. Do any of y'all happen to know? You probably do. Do any of y'all happen to know Paul Hasselbeck? Paul Hasselbeck is one of the main longtime teachers up at Unity Village. Okay, and I took several classes from him over the years. And when we were in our L.U.T, our final classes for our L.U.T, I had him for my final week of classes. And we did an exercise at that point. And I was feeling pretty good. I'd been speaking in churches for a while. I was coming up at the end of my 7 years of study, and I was getting the language down, and had pretty clear ideas about the powers and so forth. And we do this exercise, and Paul walks around the room, and he has a deck of cards, and we're to draw a card out of the deck, and then whatever we draw out of the deck, the topic that was on that card is what we had to spontaneously give a presentation on. And the idea was to draw one of the 12 powers, like make your case that this is the most important power among the 12 powers. You got to advocate for that power being most important. I drew love. Piece of cake. Well, this is great. I give my presentation on love, and love is the one. It's the greatest. It's it's everything. It all begins with love. And as I'm done, Paul says to me, he says, "What comes before love?" And I was like, "What?" And I really was. Being a curious student, I was like, well, maybe he's trying to drive me just like something like what? I'd never really thought about what was greater than love. What could possibly come before love? And I was like, I don't think there is anything. And he goes, yeah, there is. And then so for a few minutes we kind of go back and forth, and he's trying to guide me in this direction, and I'm stubbornly holding to love, like there is nothing before love. It's like love is it. That's where it all begins. And what he did, he wound up what he was saying that came before love. He named desire in the context of that conversation, and I was like, kind of like by the end of the conversation, I was like, okay, maybe and everything, but I'm still skeptical, right? Still skeptical. And so that was, at this point, probably 8, 9 years ago when that experience happened. And over the course of the ensuing years, I've thought about that classroom event on numerous occasions, and really tried to plumb down and is there something that comes before love? It's like trying to just parse it out. And just this past month, as I was preparing these talks on zeal, I realized that's what he's talking about. He's calling it desire. He should have just said zeal, and or kind of make that case that it wasn't an additional power that we had that Charles had named, but that what he was actually getting at was actually already embodied in what the intention of zeal was. That it is that passion, it is that desire. It's when we maybe see something, or we have an idea, an epiphany about something that we want to manifest in our life, and that light bulb goes off, and we go, oh, wow, and then we're ready to put our passion behind it, ready, yes, go do this thing. Then we learn to love it, right? So I think that's the case he was making, is that there's this instantaneous, something that could, there has to be an energy that comes before we get to the place where love is involved. And I think that's what he was talking about, was this capacity for zeal, this divine passion, enthusiasm. It's how we can get excited about something when we encounter it, maybe for the first time, wow, I never thought about it that way, or I've never seen this before. This would change my life, and we get that initial desire and enthusiasm for it. Then we love the thing. And I think that's what he was talking about. I could be wrong, and I haven't seen him in many, many years, and if I do come across him again, we're going to have this conversation so that we can see if we can, see if I finally understood what he was listening to, or even if my own thinking about it refined the way maybe he doesn't even think about it that way anymore. I don't know. That was 8 or 9 years ago, but I have considered that one conversation numerous times over the last 8 or 9 years. One because I thought I was maybe a little petulant in my defense of love at that point in time, and almost like is there some energy I need to clean up, around that kind of. That was one of the thoughts that's occurred to me over the course of time. It's like, what was mine in that situation? Could I have learned what he was getting at then, as opposed to, later on, right?
When the student is
Yeah,
ready.
when the student is ready, the teacher appears. So I think, when I came to these talks this past month and started thinking about that event revisited me, and I was like, oh. And it caused me to think about it in a new way, and it caused me to think about these talks this month and about zeal at this point in the year. And as I was talking about with Paula before the service today, it's like, we're coming up on this period of celebrating our abundance with Thanksgiving, that's gratitude, and there's lots of food around the table and celebration. Then we go into Christmas, and that's even more, even more and more. And then we get to New Year's Eve right before New Year's, where we're celebrating the New Year, and we wind up burning some stuff up. We go to the burning bowl, and we renounce and we release, right? And so the power of the month next month is that power of renunciation, power of release and elimination. And so one of the things that I hope to do with today's talk is setting the stage for us seeing each other between here and New Year's as well, is that we kind of engage this season with just a kind of a new intention, a little bit more of awareness in our intention, that as we go through this, it's like, if you knew for sure that there was a particular thing or belief or experience, your memory of an experience, if you knew for sure that if you moved this one thing out of your life, that it would usher in a period of transformation and growth and prosperity and all good things. But this one thing that you were really, really clear that you needed to release was also something that you were passionate about, also something that you had a lot of zeal about, enthusiasm, or something that you might have been doing for a long time, right? And you might even think it's like part of your identity, this thing. I don't know what it would be. You might not even know what it would be today, but if you think about it, you allow yourself to think about it, it'll clarify itself pretty quickly. You'll know what, if anything, that is. And what if you had to move that thing out of your way, if you had to release that, burn that up in the burning bowl on New Year's to set the stage for new growth? Anybody ever see the Peter Sellers movie Being There? You remember that? He played the gardener, and he was really a simple man, but he spoke in these gardening metaphors, and people thought he was a genius. But one of the things that he would talk about in that, they were asking him his opinions on the economy and stuff like that, and he was using these gardening metaphors. And one of the things he said in there was that you have to go in there and basically take out the stuff that's not the garden, basically, that's impeding the growth of the garden. You have to cut things back so that you can set the stage for that new growth. And that's a perfect metaphor for what we're talking about here, especially if you do gardening, then you have to do that part of the care and the maintenance in order to set the stage for new growth. And I'd be willing to bet if you are a gardener and you've been doing it for a long time, you probably have a bit of passion around it. There might not be days when you actually want to do the work, right? But you continue to do the work because you know that it's important to care for the garden. And our consciousness, our being, is it's the same thing. We have to cultivate that consciousness. And so if we're going to take on that task, we need to be passionate about the cultivation of our consciousness so that we can keep that ground fertile for more growth, more opportunities to serve, different ways for us to express our creative imaginations and so forth in our life. It's these things that give us fulfillment. It's these things that give us peace. It's these things that help us to know that we're alive in our body and that what we're up to today has meaning, has influence, has effects and consequences in the world, and that it's important. The world needs, on a daily basis, the world needs more love. Not more love like in terms of the power of love, but needs more of us expressing that love. the more of us that allow that love to express through us, then love does the work. Y'all have heard that before. It's not I, but the Christ within. We've heard that before, right? It's not I, but the Christ within. It's when we get into alignment with that, and like the song said, when you move in me, I see the perfect art in the plan. When you move in me, I see my perfect part in the plan. That when we allow Spirit to move through us, and then we're in partnership with that, we're no longer alone. We don't have to do it by ourselves. We have a powerful, powerful co-creative partner in that process with us. But in a certain sense, we're following instead of leading. But we're following an intention that we made a priority. So really we're involved in the decision to put God in that decision. We're not taking a subservient role. We have chosen to allow Spirit to lead. We have chosen to allow love to lead. And we've gotten ourselves in partnership with that. We made that choice. It's not a subsidiary choice. It's a proactive choice that we made to bring ourselves into alignment. That's where the power is. It's in the knowing that I made this choice, in the knowing that I set this intention for my life, and in the knowing that I followed through. It's like anybody ever set a New Year's intention on New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, and broke it by the next day? Anybody ever done that? Am I the only one? Right? And what happens? What happens when we do it? It could be benign. I mean, it could be benign, but when we break it, we kind of expect that when we make that resolution, that the only way to succeed at following through on that resolution is if we do it perfectly. That we can't allow ourselves to fail. And we believe that, and then we fail the next day, and as soon as we failed, we can't do it perfectly, so we give up on the resolution. It's a process. And that's why I'm saying if you want to have a really powerful New Year's resolution come this year and set a new intention for 2024 and how you want to transform your life, start now. Start now being with Spirit. Start now looking around at your life, and it's like celebrate the good. I'm not saying this is not a negative thing. It's like celebrate the season, celebrate the abundance, have a great time at Thanksgiving, have a great time in the Christmas season and so forth. All of those kinds of things, they're not mutually exclusive things. But what if in 2024 I could really have a transformative experience in my life in 2024? What if something that I had been putting off, that I hadn't been making time for, letting other things crowd out, what if I made room for that and manifested that part of my life in 2024? You'd be passionate about that. You'd get excited about that. And the good news is that, and we're right there on the cusp of it right now, right? We have this zeal, we have this divine passion. We can identify, yes, this really floats my boat. I really like this thing. I want more of this in my life. But in order to have more of this, there's some other things it's got to give. I got to create room in my schedule. I got to create, the use of my time, energy, and resources and so forth, right? Well, we got the power of renunciation coming up next month, right? So we get to practice with that, what that process of saying no to something so that I can say yes to something greater in my life. So I'm not sure if I'm back here next month, or you'll be talking about renunciation, at least I'm sure at some point in time. I'm not sure if I'm back here. If I'm back here in November, we'll continue this, and we'll talk a little bit more about elimination, because if I'm back here, it's probably going to be close to the Thanksgiving season at that point in time, and we'll be in abundance and celebrating at that point in time. So, but I want to invite you to sort of play along with this for the next couple of months as we're looking forward to that burning bowl ceremony, and that spend some time, over the next couple of months as you're going through the season and everything, and kind of asking you, where am I directing my zeal? First of all, since we're talking about zeal today, kind of start there. Where am I directing my passion, my enthusiasm? In what areas am I spending that energy, right? Just identify it without judgment. Doesn't really matter. And once you've identified them, then you can say, what's within me that I'm wanting to manifest? What feels like it's trying to give birth in my life? And then look at all the things you've said yes to over here, and say, what I got to say no to over here so that I can make room for this. There may not be much. Really, depending on how your life is organized and depending on the new thing you're wanting to go. But do that investigation. Is there something, some way I'm spending my time that's, let's just say, inefficient? We won't judge it as good or bad. It's just that I'm spending too many resources, too much time in this direction, and I can reclaim some of this time so that I can put it into this other thing that I want to manifest. So let's just look at it kind of as almost as a time management, an energy resource management kind of investigation. You'll know what you're passionate about. I promise you that each one of us in this, if you have something that's unexpressed in your life that you really, really want to do, but you don't know how you'll find the time or the whatever, you'll know what it is. I mean, me, I'd literally like to wake up in the morning and do nothing but write all day. Like, so I'm having to carve out more and more time to put myself into a writing situation as I create the lifestyle. It's never going to be perfect. Anybody that's ever thought about writing a book, you always imagine there's going to be this perfect time when you're going to be able to go away to a beach cabin somewhere or a mountain cabin somewhere, 6 weeks, 8 weeks, perfect silence, nobody bothering you, that you're going to be able to go in there and get that book out in 2 months and it's going to be the great American novel. Everybody has that dream. Everybody has that dream. You rarely ever get, unless you're already a successful author and you can actually literally just tell your editor that you're gone to the mountains for 6 months or whatever. But if you're trying to manifest into that world and everything, you're not going to have that large block of time. So our transformation comes in little bitty moments in our life. What Julia Cameron calls the nooks and crannies of our life. Like teaching you, oh, you've only got 15 minutes right now and writing is the thing you want to do, then spend 15 minutes writing, and then when you're done, go back to what you need to do. And the next time you might have 30 minutes. You can go have a cup of coffee at Starbucks or whatever, write for 30 minutes. Learning to give incremental time to this thing that you want to express in your life. And you'll learn to arbitrage and triage with all the different kinds of places in your life. It's like, oh no, I can say that's less important to me right now because that takes me 2 hours to do and it's not really contributing things. So I'm going to reclaim that 2 hours that I spend doing this non-essential thing so I can have the time, energy, and resources to do this thing that I really love. So that's all I'm inviting you to do, because whatever that is, when you'll know what it is, and when it excites you, that's your divine zeal in play. That's what today's talk is about. Learning to recognize that. Where is your passion? What is it? What's yet unmanifest in your life, or not manifest completed, right? You'll know. And then I just invite you to kind of, as we move through this season and everything, we'll talk about renunciation, elimination next month, and power of life in December, which is our generative power, and so forth. And then we're right back at the top of the 12 powers in January again, right back with faith, which allows me to see those possibilities for myself before they come into manifestation. The bottom line is this. We have 12 powers that Charles named. I think he also said in his writings, he's not saying these are the only powers. There might be other powers that people would come along and articulate and go, they didn't think about that. But we have these 12 creative faculties. They are intended to help facilitate our transformation. That's their purpose. And so, how are we using them? How effectively are we using them? Are we remembering in our times of stress, when we're stressed out, afraid? Are we remembering that we have these capacities in that moment of fear? It's like that's the time we should default back to the Christ within. It's not I, but the Christ within that does the work. And if we put our passion behind that, if we put our zeal behind that, we put our enthusiasm behind that, like Paul Hasselbeck would say, our desire, behind that, that's divine power. I mean, it's not a little thing. It's like when you align your enthusiasm, your divine passion in a direction, you're not doing it alone. That's the point. That when you clarify the intention, and that's where you put your energy and intention, Spirit is right there with you. So we'll talk more about this as we go along. I want to invite you to think about it. Maybe the next time we see each other, you might have an idea about what that is that you might want to manifest more of in your life. And you don't go alone. You have plenty of assistance and support, and just invite you to, how can you transform your life in the coming year? What can you have more of in your life that will transform your experience? And I'm excited to see how this plays out, because I'm going to be following through as well. I'm trying to manifest my first novel, and I'm in that middle to 3/4 section right now where there's all kinds of threads rolling around, and I have doubt that I'm going to be able to tie it all back together. And here's what but you got to go through that to get to the final manifestation. So as we go along here, hopefully I'll be showing y'all that book, at some point in the process. And all I'm saying is that if I get to that point where that book is in front of you, just know that as I'm speaking to you today, I'm employing the zeal and the renunciation and everything to make that book manifest, right? And so I encourage you to find out what that looks like in your own life, and I'm excited to see what we'll bring to and manifest in 2024 together. So, with that, thank you all. If you're joining us at home here at a later time, thank you all for taking the time to be with us. We invite you to come down and join us here at Unity of San Marcos on Sunday mornings if you can. And once again, thank you so much. Thank each one of you for being here today. I really, really do appreciate it. I always love coming here. See y'all soon. Peace.